Maplewood. Learn English, one story at a time. Episode 11, Simon and Margo Picnic. Maplewood is a story series set in a small town full of friendship, family, and everyday moments. Pause the video to learn more. Every Maplewood video is read out loud with the words on the screen so you can follow along. Every story is told in 4 levels. You can listen to all of them or use the timestamps in the description to jump to your own level. Pause the video to learn more. There are 4 ways to access Maplewood stories. All the links are in the video description. Pause the video to learn more. Maplewood stories are always free to enjoy. Donations are accepted to support the work. Pause the video to learn more. I'm Miss Laura. Let's read today's story together. Level 1, Beginner. Simon and Margo are staying at Chestnut House. It's a nice Airbnb. They sleep late. When they wake up, they go outside. They drink coffee on the back porch. Their mugs match. They look out and see the trees. They see a lake. It is called Silverleaf Lake. Simon smiles. "Let's have a picnic," he says. Margo smiles too. "That sounds lovely," she says. They walk near the lake. The trees move in the wind. The leaves sparkle in the sun. Harold and Margaret are there too. Harold says, "This is Silverleaf Lake. The leaves shine like silver coins when the wind blows." Later, Simon and Margo sit on a blanket. Simon cooked the food. He likes to cook. He feels happy to take care of Margo. Margo smiles. She shows she likes it. Margo wears a deep blue dress. It has little gray buttons. Her scarf is silver. Her sandals are gray. Simon wears jeans and a purple shirt. His shoes are gray. They eat slowly. They talk. They laugh. Then they walk by the lake. They hold hands. At sunset, they sit on a bench. Margo puts her head on Simon's shoulder. He holds her. He feels calm and happy. They go to bed and sleep deeply. Chestnut House feels warm and safe. Rain begins to fall. Thunder rolls gently in the distance. They listen as they drift off to sleep. I'd love to read with you again. Subscribe and tap the little bell so the next story can land softly in your day. Level 2, Intermediate. Simon and Margo were staying at Chestnut House, a cozy Airbnb near the woods. They slept in and woke up feeling rested. Outside, the sun was shining. They carried their matching coffee mugs to the back porch and sat together. From the porch, they could see the soft trees of Aspen Hollow. Silverleaf Lake sparkled just beyond the trees. The morning was quiet and fresh. Simon took a sip of coffee and smiled. "This is a perfect day for a picnic," he said. Margo smiled back. "I agree. Let's go to the lake." After breakfast, they walked slowly through Aspen Hollow. Margo's blue dress had small gray buttons all the way down. The skirt was light and moved gently in the breeze. She wore a silver scarf and gray sandals. Simon wore jeans and a deep purple shirt. His shirt was loose and comfortable. His shoes were soft gray slip-ons. They saw birds in the trees and a squirrel running across the path. As they walked, they saw Harold and Margaret. "Hello," Harold said. "Enjoying Aspen Hollow?" "It's beautiful," said Simon. Harold pointed to the lake. "They say it's called Silverleaf Lake because when the wind blows just right, the light dances on the quaking aspens and their heart-shaped leaves, flashing like silver coins in the breeze." Simon and Margo smiled and walked on. Simon carried a basket. He had made all the food. Cooking made him happy. He liked taking care of Margo. Margo smiled in her quiet way. She looked at him with love. Simon laid out a soft blanket. He helped Margo sit down carefully. Then they enjoyed their picnic. They ate slowly and talked kindly. After lunch, they strolled near the water. They held hands and listened to the wind in the leaves. As the sun went down, they found a park bench. The sky turned orange and pink. Margo leaned her head on Simon's shoulder. He held her close and felt peaceful. That night, Chestnut House felt even cozier. As they climbed into bed, gentle thunder began to roll outside. Rain tapped softly on the windows. They fell asleep with smiles, comforted by the sounds of the storm. I'd love to read with you again. Subscribe and tap the little bell so the next story can land softly in your day. Level 3, Advanced. Simon and Margo were staying at Chestnut. Simon and Margo were staying at Chestnut House, the town's cozy and peaceful Airbnb. Surrounded by trees and tucked near Silverleaf Lake, it offered the perfect place to rest after the spring festival. The stillness inside their room carried the distant trill of morning bird song. Sunlight filtered into the room through soft curtains, casting a warm golden glow that slowly stirred them from sleep. Simon stretched and smiled at Margo. "Coffee?" "Always," she replied softly. They brought their matching mugs to the back porch. The porch overlooked Aspen Hollow, and just beyond that, Silverleaf Lake shimmered in the morning light. "This view is perfect," Simon said. "Let's have a picnic at the lake." Margo looked out at the silver leaves dancing in the breeze. "That sounds lovely." After breakfast, they took a slow stroll through Aspen Hollow. Margo wore her deep blue dress from the spring festival. The small gray buttons started at her neck and went all the way to the hem. The skirt moved like a whisper as she walked. Her silver scarf shimmered in the light, and her gray sandals matched the tones of the forest floor. Simon looked handsome in jeans and a deep purple shirt. His gray slip-on shoes looked both relaxed and stylish. A rabbit darted into the underbrush. The path was soft and dappled with light, carrying the earthy scent of moss and leaves beneath their feet. They ran into Harold and Margaret, also out for a morning walk. "The lake looks beautiful today," Margaret said. "You picked a perfect time to visit." Harold nodded. "They say it's called Silverleaf Lake because the wind blows just right, the light dances on the quaking aspens, and their heart-shaped leaves, flashing like silver coins in the breeze." Simon thanked them with a warm smile. Margo touched the edge of her silver scarf and looked toward the lake. The fabric caught the light gently, just like the leaves in the breeze. Her eyes lingered on the water, filled with quiet wonder. At the lake, Simon picked a spot under a group of aspens. He unfolded a checkered blanket and smoothed it on the grass. He offered Margo his hand and guided her gently to sit. The food was simple but made with love. Simon had prepared it himself. He enjoyed cooking. It brought him joy to prepare something special for Margo. She, in her quiet way, let him know how much it meant to her. She reached for his hand and gave it a soft squeeze. They shared small bites and thoughtful conversation. The breeze played with the edge of Margo's skirt. Laughter came easily. After their meal, they walked hand in hand along the water's edge. The lake rippled gently. Aspen leaves shimmered in the light. Their steps were slow and peaceful. As dusk arrived, they found a bench facing the lake. The sky turned golden, then pink and lavender. Margo rested her head on Simon's shoulder. He placed an arm around her. His heart felt full. Holding her, he felt something settle deep within him, a quiet connection. That night, Chestnut House welcomed them like a hug. The wind picked up slightly as they slipped beneath the covers. Rain began to fall softly on the roof. Thunder rolled far off in the distance. Wrapped in warmth, they listened to the rhythm of the rain and drifted off into a deep, peaceful sleep. I'd love to read with you again. Subscribe and tap the little bell so the next story can land softly in your day. Level 4, Proficient. At Chestnut House, the day began in a quiet, slow way, the kind of morning that gently invites you to savor its silence. Margo stirred first, blinking softly in the sunlit bedroom. Beside her, Simon stretched and opened his eyes with a contented sigh. "Good morning, sunshine," he said. "Hi, Simon," she answered. They padded quietly into the kitchen, still in their socks, and brewed 2 mugs of strong coffee. The pair of mugs, identical in size and color, felt like a small shared ritual. A gift from the hosts, each one was glazed in forest green and etched with the words Chestnut House, a quiet reminder of where they had landed together. Carrying them carefully, they stepped onto the back porch. The wood was warm under their feet. From here they had a view of Aspen Hollow, where tall trees rose like gentle giants, their leaves already starting to shimmer in the morning breeze. To the right, the waters of Silverleaf Lake shimmered in the morning light, stretching wide and still, like a silver mirror framed by trees. Simon sipped his coffee. "Let's make today special. I think a picnic would be perfect." Margo smiled. "Yes, I would love that." She went to change while Simon moved smoothly through the kitchen, the familiar rhythm of cooking grounding him in calm delight. He hummed quietly as he arranged slices of herbed roast chicken, crisp vegetables, and sweet apple wedges with careful intention. Every motion was measured and thoughtful, a kind of devotion expressed through flavor and care. He folded the napkins with a soft smile and placed them on top, picturing the look on Margo's face as she saw the meal he had prepared. Her joy, quiet and sincere, always made these moments feel even richer. Margo stepped into the room, dressed for the day. Her deep blue dress from the spring festival flowed around her knees. The small gray buttons caught the light, leading down from the neckline to the hem. Her silver scarf was wrapped softly at her neck, and her gray sandals completed the look. The breeze made her skirt float slightly as she walked. Simon paused, appreciating the sight of her. "You look like a painting." She tilted her head. "And you, kind sir, look quite dashing yourself." He wore jeans and a deep purple dress shirt. The shirt hung untucked, casual yet elegant. His gray slip-on shoes made him look ready for anything, though he hoped the day would require nothing more than soft words and quiet smiles. Together they stepped out into Aspen Hollow, the soft hush of the forest welcoming them like an old friend. The trail curved beneath towering aspens, each step landing on a carpet of earth dappled with shifting light. Birdsong laced the air like music. Leaves whispered with the breeze. A squirrel darted across their path, its tiny feet stirring the fallen petals of wildflowers that nodded as they passed, as if acknowledging that something tender and true unfolding between them. They came upon Harold and Margaret walking slowly, arm in arm. "You two look like you're enjoying the morning," Margaret said. "We truly are," Margo said joyfully. "It feels like the morning is smiling back at us." Harold gestured toward the lake. "They say it's called Silverleaf Lake because when the wind blows just right, the light dances on the quaking aspens and their heart-shaped leaves, flashing like silver coins in the breeze." "That's the kind of beauty I'll carry with me," Simon said, his voice low and sincere. "Thank you for sharing that." Margo ran her fingers along the edge of her silver scarf, her expression thoughtful. The delicate sheen of the fabric caught the light, much like the leaves above them. She glanced towards the lake, her eyes reflecting the same quiet wonder that danced across its surface. Simon and Margo continued toward the lake. The grass grew taller near the shore, swaying gently. They found a small open area under a stand of aspens. The tree trunks stood like graceful pillars, and the leaves above offered just enough shade. Simon unfolded a soft checkered blanket and smoothed it onto the grass. He turned to Margo and offered his hand. She accepted it with a nod and allowed him to guide her gently to the ground. He revealed the contents of the basket with care, and with each familiar motion, the moment he had imagined earlier came to life. Margo watched him, her eyes full of warmth and appreciation, quiet, sincere, and exactly as he had pictured. "You always think of everything," Margo said. Simon looked at her with a gentle smile. "Making food for you brings me joy. It feels like something I was meant to do." Margo leaned in, her expression softening. She rested her hand on his and said, "I feel so cared for. It means more than I can say." They ate slowly, savoring the food and the view. Their conversation was gentle and filled with shared memories and quiet laughter. After the meal, they walked along the lake. The breeze lifted the edge of Margo's skirt. The water mirrored the sky. Birds glided and darted above them. As the sun dipped toward the horizon, they found a park bench tucked between two trees. They sat down together, watching the sky turn orange, then pink, then soft lavender. Margo rested her head on Simon's shoulder. He wrapped his arm around her. A stillness settled in. Simon closed his eyes for a moment. In that simple act, her head on his shoulder, their fingers entwined, he felt something shift. It was the kind of peace that didn't require words. A deep knowing, a sense of belonging, a soul connection. Later that evening they returned to Chestnut House. The porch light glowed gently. Inside, everything felt wrapped in softness. As they changed into cozy clothes and settled into bed, the sound of thunder rolled through the hills. Rain began to fall, soft and steady. It tapped against the windows and sang across the roof. Wrapped in the warmth of blankets and the quiet comfort of each other, they drifted off to sleep in each other's arms. The rest of the world faded away. I'd love to read with you again. Subscribe and tap the little bell so the next story can land softly in your day.